Good afternoon, everyone. So, as you know about the wrist and hand complex, as you know about, we are going with the wrist and hand complex. So, in last in last video, I was talking about the wrist and hand. What are the muscles and what are the bones are included in that. So, next is TFCC. TFCC means triangular fibrocartilage complex, which is consist of radioulnar disc as well as various kind of fibrous attachment providing the support and the support to the distal radioulnar joint. So it included in that. So TFCC, in short form, I can in short form we were told that in short form of triangular fibrocartilage we will use TFCC. So TFCC, it is the consist of radioulnar disc and various fibrous attachment which will provide the stability into the distal radioulnar joint. So it is the complex of the fibrous attachment into the distal radioulnar joint. So this disc, the disc is which is connected medially with medially via two dense fibrous connective tissue laminae, and this disc which is connected medially via two denses, so and also with the fibrous connective tissues. So the upper laminae, so the upper this upper disc or upper laminae, which include the dorsal and the volar radioulnar ligaments, where so this upper laminae, so this disc which include two dense, so first is upper laminae and second is lower laminae. So this laminae is also known as the fibroconnective tissue laminae. So first is upper laminae, which include the dorsal and volar radioulnar ligament, and the lower laminae, which include which also connect with the sheath of the extensor carpi ulnaris tendon, and also the lower laminae which connect with the triquetrum, hamate, and the base of the fifth metacarpal through the ulnar collateral ligament. So the attachment of the disc is this. Now there is also one meniscus homologue, which is the region of the irregular connective tissue. Now it is also the part of the lower laminae, and which is transverse volare and the ulnari from the dorsal radius to insert into the triquetrum. So what is the meniscus homologue? Where is the meniscus homologue is situated? So it is the, first of all, it is the region of the irregular connective tissue, and second it is transverse volare and ulnari from the dorsal radius to insert into the triquetrum, and it is inserted into the triquetrum. Next is so the proximal carpal row, scaphoid, lunate, and triquetrum also including in this. So bones are interconnected with the ligament. So these two ligaments are scapholunate ligament, interosseous, and all. It is second is lunotriquetral ligament, lunotriquetral interosseous ligament. So scaphoid, lunate, and triquetrum, which is the proximal row of the metacarpal of the carpal bone. So it is connected with the two ligaments. First is scapholunate ligament, and second is lunotriquetral interosseous ligament. And the proximal row, the proximal carpal bone row, and the ligaments, which will appear together as a single biconvex cartilage. So when we see into the MRI or any X-ray, it will looks like a single biconvex cartilage covered with the joint surfaces, and that can also change the shape into the accommodate to the demand of space between the forearm and head. So when the any movement will be occur into the wrist or hand side, so at that time this Biconvex cartilage will change the position as well as the shape as well as the space between the forearm and hand. So next is in radiocarpal joint. In radiocarpal joint, this distal surface, it is the sharper than the proximal one. So it is work into the coronal plane. It is work into the coronal and sagittal plane, and it will makes the joint incongruent. So which will cause, and because of that it will cause the greater range of motion of the wrist, as well as it is also cause the greater flexion extension movement as well as the ulnar and radial deviation movement into the greater range. So it is because the joint surfaces are incongruent, because of that only the wrist joint movement like flexion extension and the radial ulnar deviation, it will become more due to this reason. Now next, it is as the curvature and inclination of the radiocarpal surfaces affect the function, the length of the ulna in relation to the radius also affect it. So as we all know that radius and ulna both will joint with together. So once proximal radioulnar joint will be moved, the distal radioulnar joint will be also moved. So and also if the one joint is affected, the other one is also affected with the movement. So if the radiocarpal surfaces affected the function, so because of that the radioulnar joint will be affected through the relation of the ulna and radius with each other. Next is there is one ulnar. There is two things is main in this. So one is ulnar negative variance and ulnar positive variance. So what is ulnar negative variance? So it is the into the distal radioulnar joint there is a shorter ulna than the radius, which is known as the ulnar negative variance, and ulnar positive variance means into the distal radioulnar joint if there is a ulna is longer than the radius, which is known as the ulnar positive variance. Now the positive variance of the ulnar, which is associated with the changes into the TFCC thickness, and it is potential for the impingement of the TFCC between ulna and the triquetrum. So because of the, if there is a positive variance, means the ulna is longer than the radius into the distal radioulnar joint. So what happened? It will take change into the TFCC thickness. So it will also, and because of that, so positive variance will cause the changes into the TFCC thickness, and because of that the TFCC will be impinged into the ulna and triquetrum area, between the ulna and triquetrum. So as the ulna is longer and it is present after the distal radius fracture, which is held in shortened position, pain at the range of pronation and ulnar deviation will be occur. So if after the trauma or after the any fracture into the radius at the distal radioulnar joint, what happen? If the ulna will remain the longer than the radius, so at that time TFCC will be impinged into the ulna and the triquetrum, and so once the fracture will be healed and the ulna will be remain the same, so due to that patient will get the pain into the pronation into the ulnar deviation. So in pronation and ulnar deviation, into this moment patient will get the pain into the wrist joint, into the TFCC area. So into the negative variance, this is all about the positive variance. So into the negative variance, what happened? It is the caused by the abnormal force distribution at the radiocarpal joint, and also it will cause by the potential degeneration into the joints and the avascular necrosis or lunate. So it is known as the Kinbock disease. It is known as the Kinbock's disease, when the avascular necrosis of the unit will be occur, which is known as the Kinbock disease. So negative feedback, as I told you, that shorter ulna then the radius into the distal radioulnar joint, which is known as the negative variance. So next is radiocarpal and capsules and ligament, that we will talk about and that we will see into the next lecture. Thank you.